It's a beautiful evening. The moon, the crescent moon is smirking over the tree branch. There's a couple of stars in the sky. A little girl is almost in tears. She followed the white rabbit, and he was in a hurry. He had a clock, and he hadn't got time. I haven't got time. I haven't got time. And she followed the white rabbit down, and suddenly there are all these roads. And here she is at the foot of this beautiful big tree, and she's lost, and she's almost in tears. And she looks up, and there's the moon and the stars. But do you know, it looks like a cat, a Cheshire cat. And Alice says to the Cheshire cat, "How do I get to where I want to go?" And the Cheshire cat said, "First, find out where you are." Today, I'd like to talk about finding out where we are. The binoculars at the beginning of the meditation are something that I don't usually use in a meditation. But I thought it was a good example of the things that people are looking for on all these roads when they're lost. We have people that are praying for healing. And we all know all roads lead to Rome. We all know that. We've heard that before. But you know, some of those roads are a long way round. And some of them are shortcut. And if we get lost in our own monkey mind, all our prayers are answered, but sometimes they take a long time. We know that. Sometimes our prayers take a long time because we're lost. And the Cheshire cat said, find out where you are. Have the two young ladies here this morning ever heard of Alice in Wonderland? If not, Doug, you'd better get the book. Because a lot of us are lost in Wonderland. Wonderland, what a place to be lost. We have all these exciting, wonderful things happening in life, but we need a healing. And all these things are distracting us. So we start off on this road, and we get distracted and we end up on that road, and we get distracted again and we end up on another road. And we spend so much time trying to unfold the roads that we're lost on that the healing it definitely comes. I didn't like to put it in my title when I said, "It serves you right." But how many times have you had it said, "It jolly well serves you right"? You're walking along a track in the bush. I was down on the surf coast a couple of months ago. Absolutely loving the surf coast. The waves crashing on the shore, beautiful trees, absolutely on top of the world, looking at the trees, looking at the waves, and suddenly, guess what? I jolly well serves me right. I tripped over. I bruised my chest, tore my leg. I was very uncomfortable. I wasn't as clever as my wife who broke her leg, but I wasn't looking where I was going. It jolly well served me right. And a lot of us, when we're praying, are not looking where we're going. We're looking at the scenery. And then when we tripped over on a good thought sometimes. I'm not saying it's bad, but sometimes, like the Chinese proverb, what we think is good is bad, what we think is bad is good. We're not too sure. Yesterday we had a class in Unity of Bayside. We were talking about unity in the Baha'i. wonderful religion. They believe that the secret of the world peace is in unity. Not the name, the title of this church, but unity, the unity of people. They believe that it's very important that we understand that we're all different, and that's okay. We are different. If the chap up the road drinks coffee and you don't drink coffee, is he a bad person? And that's a question we often get involved in with religion. But we've got to look at where we are, just like Alice, to get to where we want to go. How many of you got up this morning and had your breakfast dishes, not the breakfast dishes, had your breakfast on the dishes of last night's dinner without washing the dishes first? How many of you got up and washed and didn't wash the dishes? In the Bible it says, we talk about the outside of the cup, but we need to clean the inside of the cup. We've done funny things to help us get more and more lost. I can remember when I first came into Unity and this fellow called Charles Fillmore talked about denials and affirmations. I didn't know it, but I heard about it and I read about it in books. These things called denials and affirmations. And I started to realise that I was using denials a lot. I used to say, I'm not drinking, as I'd take another whiskey. I used to say, I don't smoke too much. At one stage I was smoking 80 cigarettes a day. Whoops, I light one from the other one. You know what I'm talking about? They call it chain smoking. Not too many people do it today, I hope. But I knew what denial was all about. I lived in denial. There was nothing wrong with me. I had a heart attack last year to prove it. A lot of people use denial by saying, no, I'm not angry, or I'm not frustrated. And that's called living in denial. Because we need to learn to accept the conditions so we can deal with them. I can remember, and someone very dear to me was involved in this, she didn't have cancer. She had the big C. Do you know what I'm talking about? She didn't have cancer, she had the big C, because you couldn't say the word cancer. Why? Because it was a nasty word, a bad word, so she had the big C. And it took her out. And I'm not critical of her for it, because many people thought that way. But to me, that's called living in denial. And I had to go through a process of learning what true denials were about, what affirmations were about. And some of you, and I'm rapt to see these people in the back row here this morning, will remember when I was here before, and when I first went to New Zealand, I had created a process to help us to use our denials and affirmations correctly. And this word that I created, you remember how radar works? Have you ever seen a policeman standing there watching you come along the road? And they used it in the Navy and in the Air Force to see where the enemy was. The radar process. What it does, it sends out a message and the message bounces back. And then we know what is in the vicinity and we can deal with it. Well, the third and fourth letter, D-A, I knew all about denials and affirmations. In fact, I went to Unity Village based on the thinking that I could deny power to things and I could affirm what I wanted to experience. But I was still in Wonderland and I was still distracted many, many times. So I had to go back and look at that first letter. And I'd like to talk to you this morning on 3 levels. I read a thing the other day that said Unity doesn't believe in the Trinity. I believe, we believe in the Trinity. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, Spirit, Soul and Body, Mind, Idea, Expression, they're the Trinity. And when you look at spirit, soul and body, which of course we all are, I'd like to start at the expression level, at the Jesus level, the expression of the divine idea, and work up. So first of all, when we use the radar process, we recognise what's upsetting us, like you wouldn't believe what he said to me, or what she did. You just wouldn't believe what those people are doing. So, first of all, you recognise, yes, it is that person that I'm mad at. I have to recognise it. Then, I need to go to the second letter. Am I mad at what he did? You better believe it. I'm ropeable. Okay. I recognise what's upsetting me. I accept the feeling. Yes, I'm angry. I don't live in denial. I'm not saying, no, I'm not angry. And then I lay awake at night thinking what I'd like to do to him. So I'm saying, all right, let's recognise it. Recognise the person that's upsetting us. Accept it. And then we go to lesson number 3. He does not have power over me. Remember we're talking about the physical, the body level. He does not have power over me. So we go to the next one. If he doesn't have power over me, what can I affirm so that I don't get upset every time I hear about what he did? I can affirm that I can be at peace no matter what's happening in my world. No matter what the situation is, I honestly can be at peace. I don't have to get upset every time I hear about what he did. And gradually, I start to believe it. And then I come to the last step. I receive that peace. And somebody comes up to me and says, did you hear what so-and-so did? And I said, yeah, that's what he did. Not good news, not bad news, that's what he did. That's what she did. Now I'd like to look at it again on another level. That was the physical level, where we're dealing with a person, a place, or a situation in our life. And now I want to talk about the soul level. Spirit, soul and body. Now we're going up to the soul level. So we'll talk about the same situation, but now I want to recognise what I'm feeling, not who upset me, not who upset me, what I'm feeling. Am I feeling angry? Am I feeling frustrated? Am I feeling upset about something that's going on? I need to recognise what I'm feeling. Like the Cheshire Cat said, first find out where you are. So I recognise that I'm feeling angry. The next step's the hard one. You're a true student. You've been going to Unity for 40 years. True students don't get angry. True students don't get frustrated. Are you angry? Yes, I'm angry. I need to buy that. I need to accept the fact that I'm angry. It's no longer relative to anybody. I can only experience anger if I have anger in my past and remember it. All he did was press the angry button and woof, up it came. That will slow down my healing. Do you believe me? That will slow down my healing. So I've got to move on to the next one. That anger that I'm feeling doesn't have power over me. Why? Because where is God? Is he going to come and help me? Where is he? Where are you, God? I'm angry and I need your help. And the still small voice inside of me said, how much energy is there in your anger? On a scale of 1 to 10, it's 23. There's enough anger here. Just an aside. When I was living in America, they did a test on rats. And they made some rats angry. And from their glands, they were able to take the can't think of the word now, the adrenaline, they were able to take the adrenaline from the rat's glands and they found enough poison to kill a horse in a rat. So how much anger have I got if it's 23 out of 10? Do you ever feel angry? Accept it. It doesn't have power over me because I'm the one looking through my eyes. I'm the one on the inside. I am. What am I? Be still and know that I am God. So, where is the power to deny power to anything else in the world? I have that power. You have that power because you are God expressing. And you can't express anything else because there isn't anything else to express. So there is no power now in that anger. It's 23 out of 10 and I'm going to use it as love. I'm going to direct that energy now, tremendous energy, and I'm going to say, wow, there's enough energy there to heal my world. So anybody in my world who is seeking healing is going to feel that energy. I don't have to focus on them and say, you're going to get it. I just extend it. In the Course in Miracles, it says you don't project love. You don't point it at somebody. You extend love. If you're pointing it at somebody, you're limiting your world. If you're extending love, you're creating a world of love. So I'm affirming there is nothing but love in my consciousness. I'm at peace with my feelings because I feel nothing but love. And guess what I receive? Nothing but love. In our circle this morning, Sue said that when we sent the love around in the circle, she felt it because it came back to her because it was going around in the circle. And that's what our world's like. As we send our love, extend our love, as we extend our love into our world, we get more. And the more we give, the more we receive. Where do we get it from? How much energy do you have within you? If you can say, be still and know that I am God, you have enough energy to resolve any issue that can ever take place. You have received it. So that's the physical level where he's upsetting me, and that's the soul level because your soul is your thinking, feeling nature. Something very important to understand when you're talking about your thinking, feeling nature is that all feeling is virgin. Can I repeat that? All feeling is virgin. It is your thought that determines what impregnates your feeling. Does that make sense? All feeling. Remember that. All feeling is beautiful, pure energy. But if you had a glass of water and put some arsenic in it, it's a glass of water, why can't you drink it? Because you put some arsenic in it. Please don't touch. All your feelings are pure virgin. This is the Virgin Mary. All your feeling is pure virgin. But your thoughts can impregnate your feelings. Now that's the physical level, the spirit and soul level, the soul level, the thinking, feeling nature. Now let's work to the spiritual level. I am a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe governed by spiritual law. I'm going to say that once more and see if I can get you to say it with me. I am a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe governed by spiritual law. Together? I am a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe governed by spiritual laws. Now, this is the funny question. Who is in control of it in your world? Who is in control of it in your world? You are a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe governed by spiritual law, and you are in control of it in your world. Does that mean I've got a fantastic ego and I'm pretty clever? No, it means that the spirit within you is the one that gets the credit. Because it's the spirit of love that's flowing through you that will heal your world. And nobody's going to say you're a smarty pants because you can do it. They're going to say, wow, what is it? And it's extending on. So on a spiritual level, we recognise that am a spiritual being, living in a spiritual universe, governed by spiritual law. I'm not going to look at you when I ask this question, do you accept it? And we have to say, I accept that. I am no longer lost. I am no longer lost in the body consciousness where he caused the trouble. I am no longer lost in the thinking and feeling nature where anger's my problem. I accept that I am a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe governed by spiritual law. The next step, deny. If you are, then you deny power to anything else. There is not anything else. There is nothing else in your world. And you might say, oh yeah, but funny little quick story. You know, everybody here knows that my wife's got a thing about hats. And I said to her one day when she went up to Eastland, and I said, you know, just be very Eastland. Why am I saying Eastland for heaven's sake? Frankston. Anyway, she went up to Eastland, and I said to her, now, if you go into the hat shop, I'll give you some advice. When you want to buy a hat, I want you to say, get thee behind me, Satan. You heard the story? And you know what? When she came home with 4 hats, I said to her, didn't you say what I said when you went to the hat shop? And she said, yes, I did in each case. He said, my God, it looks nice from this angle too. There is no other presence and there is no other power in your universe if you take control of it. But you know what? If you don't take control of it, then there are powers everywhere. You know that. But when you take control of it, you affirm there is no other power in my life because I am in control because I'm a spiritual being. Guess what? We can rejoice. That first and second step I found quite necessary because I found that it was very easy to use denials, just like Charles and Milton talked about. Quite easy to use denials, but actually go into denial and say, no, I don't, I'm not angry, when in actual fact I was. So I thought those first 2 steps helped me to understand and uncover what it was that I had to do with. And Bill, it is a beautiful one.
Do you think we've